Hello. I hope everyone's having a good day today. Today is May 21st, 2021. It is currently 9:10 a.m. in Los Angeles, California, in the United States of America. I hope everyone's doing well today. As you may know, I am very early. Very early. I usually start at around 12:30, but I'm doing it at 9:10 a.m. today, this morning. Long story short, I have relatives over, and I gotta get this new stuff out of the way so I can have time for them. So they're downstairs, kind of having conversations. So if throughout any part of the stream, if something is interrupted, if anything is you hear noise in the background or something, I do apologize in advance. But I have no control over that, and they can do as they please. But for now, we have a lot of news to talk about today. Forgive me if I'm scrappy, but last night, I barely had time last night to figure out some news. I didn't get everything. I know that. I know I won't be able to cover everything today, but I'm going to cover some topics, and I'm going to do the best I can. Also, if my voice sounds weird and my voice sounds deeper, leave me alone. This is how, I guess this is my morning voice, and I'm sorry if you don't like it. I know I don't sound like my usual self, but that's okay. I'm not going to waste any time here. We're going to immediately talk about Donald Trump. I recently got an update on the former president of the United States. So there's been an update to him, posted by Politico. Again, last night I kind of just bookmarked these stories. I didn't really read them. So I had little time. So we're going to talk about it. Trump Justice Department sees CNN records tied to correspondence phone and email. Don't know what the hell that means. Okay, the news comes less than 2 weeks after the Washington Post said the department security got 3 of its reporters' phone calls or records. My bad. Okay, President Donald Trump's Justice Department secretly obtained a CNN reporter's records related to reported. I'm sorry, guys. I just woke up. I am so sorry. I'm really bad at reading. Okay, I just woke up. I apologize. Related to phone calls and emails, the network said on Thursday. What does he mean by secretly obtained? Or does he mean steal? CNN reported that the department informed the Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr last week about the move, in which prosecutors are able to get email and phone-related records for 2 months in 2017. These records included both her personal and work phones and emails. But why though? For what? A Justice Department spokesperson Anthony Coley confirmed to Politico on Thursday night that the legal process to get the records was approved last year, but he did not explain why the records were sought. I mean, I don't know. Okay, I'll save my comments for the end. The news comes less than 2 weeks after the Washington Post said Donald Trump's Justice Department secretly got 3 Post reporters' phone records and tried to get their email logs. Was he trying to pull a fucking Hillary Clinton or something? What the fuck? The move was in apparent bid to uncover the sources of a story in 2017 on a federal investigation into alleged links between Russia and the then president's campaign. Why does he care about this? That's what I want to. I don't understand why he cares about this. Oh wait, yeah, I do know. He's fucking crazy, right? This is a big story that just got bigger. Bruce Brown, the executive director of the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press, said in a statement that a journalist from another news organization had communication records seized by the Trump Justice Department suggests that the last administration's efforts to intrude into reporter-source relationships and chill news gatherings is more sweeping than we originally thought. Brown called on the Justice Department to give a detailed explanation of what happened and why, and how. It plans to strengthen protections for the free flow of information to the public. Coley said Politico that the department leaders are convening with reporters to reporters soon to hear the concerns and further convey Anthony General Merrick Garland's staunch support of a committee and a free independent press. Okay, CNN President Jeff Zucker criticizes the Justice Department's actions. CNN strongly condemns the secret collection of any aspect of journalist correspondence, which is clearly protected by the First Amendment, Zucker said. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't care about this. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't really care about this at all. But I'm gonna finish reading it because I have to. The Post story on Russia, which included then Russian Ambassador Sergei, I'm not reading that last name, said he discussed Russia-related topics with Jeff Sessions, a Trump campaigner advisor at the time, drew the ire of Trump in early months of his term. 2 weeks after the story, Sessions, who at the time was an attorney general, announced a crackdown on a supposed culture of leaks. The Justice Department spokesman Mark Rembody said the goal of the investigation involving the Post reporters wasn't to prosecute reporters. The targets of these investigations are not the news media recipients, but rather those with the access to the national defense information who required it to the media and thus failed to protect it as lawfully required. But how does... Okay, never mind. You know what? I'm going to keep that to myself. CNN said it was unclear when the investigation involving Starr began, whether it was under the Sessions of the Attorney General William Barr, and what the Trump administration might have been searching for. Under guidelines changed in 2013, under the then Attorney General Eric Holder, after conversations about the department's use of law enforcement mechanisms involving journalists, the DOJ is required to notify journalists about searches within 45 days or 90 days under pressing circumstances. These notices timing suggests the Justice Department received the information under President Joe Biden. Is that it? I guess that was your Trump update? That he just got some fucking phone records and emails? I don't know for what. I'm not a fucking Trump expert. So I don't really know what he needs them for. But I don't think I get anything more than this. So I'm gonna move on away from this. I think this is the first news story that I've read that I kind of just don't know what the fuck's happening. But again, I woke up, so maybe on Monday when I stream news stuff again, I'm gonna be more better. But we're gonna move on away from this. We're gonna move on to Israel. Alright, give me a second to set this up. Alright, I didn't have time to set it up before. Okay, I didn't have time to set this up, so give me a second, please. Okay, long story short, I heard there was a ceasefire in Israel. I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but we're gonna talk about it, right? But first, we're gonna talk about the President of the United States, Biden, staring down the first Mideast crisis, touted ceasefire. Okay, so what did he say? Let me hear what this guy had to say. What the fuck? Again, for the past few days when I've been covering him, I've kind of just been doing a lot of criticism, as he deserves. I don't think he responded. Obviously, everyone knows that he didn't respond appropriately to the crisis that's been happening in the Middle East.
Just spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu. Earlier today, I spoke with President al-Sisi of Egypt. Prime Minister Netanyahu informed me that Israel has agreed to a mutual unconditional ceasefire.
Look, and here's the thing. He said that Israel agreed to a ceasefire. Here's what you guys don't understand. A ceasefire would have never happened if Israel didn't say so. It is up to Israel. They have the say-so whether or not a ceasefire could happen. Hence why it's unfair.
Began in less than...
I mean, it's good, right? I'm not going to fucking lie to you. Of course it's good. This is good news.
2 hours. The Egyptians have now informed us that Hamas and the other groups in Gaza have also agreed. In my conversation with President Netanyahu, I commended him for the decision to bring the current hostilities to a close within less than 11 days. I also emphasized what I've said throughout this conflict.
Also, guys, remember this probably could have fucking happened days ago. This could have happened a long time ago, but no, the US and Biden had to block the fucking ceasefire that the United Unions wanted to do.
The United States fully supports Israel's right to defend itself against indiscriminate rocket attacks from Hamas.
Yeah, but he doesn't fucking support Palestinians fucking fighting back. All right, yeah, got it.
Other Gaza-based terrorist groups that have taken the lives of innocent civilians in Israel. The Prime Minister also shared with me his appreciation for the Iron Dome system, which our nations developed together and which has saved lives of countless Israeli citizens.
Oh yeah, also by the way, I read just yesterday or last night, I think that Joe Biden, that the United States is going to pay for another fucking Iron Dome in Israel. Pog.
Both Arab and Jew. I assured him of my full support to replenish Israel's Iron Dome system to ensure its defenses and
What the fuck did I just say?
security in the future. Over the last 11 days, I've spoken with the Prime Minister 6 times. I've also spoken with President Abbas of the Palestinian Authority more than once, and part of our intense diplomatic engagement. And I want to also thank the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, our National Security Advisor, and everyone on our team for their incredible efforts to bring this outcome that we're about to see. You know, we've held intensive high-level discussions, hour by hour, literally.
Intensive fucking high discussions like let's kill all Palestinians, dude.
Egypt, the Palestinian Authority, and other Middle Eastern countries, with the name of avoiding the sort of prolonged conflict.
Dude, obviously I'm being fucking sarcastic and dramatic, so if any of you take this seriously about what I just said, calm the fuck down.
We've seen in previous years when the hostilities have broken out. I extend my sincere gratitude to President al-Sisi and the senior Egyptian officials who played such a critical role in this diplomacy. I also appreciate the contributions of other parties in the region who've been engaged in working toward the end of hostilities. These hostilities have resulted in the tragic deaths of so many civilians, including children. And I send my sincere condolences to all the families, Israeli and Palestinian, who have lost loved ones, and my hope for a full recovery for the wounded.
Yeah, sure. If he actually fucking gave a fuck, then he would have had a ceasefire a long time ago. Again, this could have happened days ago. If he would have done this days ago, a lot of children's lives and people's lives would be saved. There's people that could still be alive right now. If this was done days ago.
The United States committed to working with the United Nations, and we remain committed to working with the United Nations and other international stakeholders to provide rapid humanitarian assistance and to marshal international support for the people of Gaza and the Gaza reconstruction efforts. We will do this in full partnership with the Palestinian Authority, not Hamas, the Authority, in a manner that does not permit Hamas to simply restock its military arsenal. I believe the Palestinians and Israelis equally deserve to live safely and securely and to enjoy equal measures of freedom, prosperity, and democracy.
Damn, oof, dude, fucking excellent lib take. Holy shit, he just solved racism. Oh my god, I believe people should be treated equally. Fucking round of applause, dude. Okay, I'm done with that. I don't want to hear him talk anymore. Okay, I'm gonna read this for more details, so, yeah, stick around, I guess. President Joe Biden, having weathered the first major foreign crisis of his presidency that tested the bounds of his decade-long friendship with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, touted Thursday a ceasefire deal that appears to end the bloody 11-day conflict between Israel and Hamas. A hastily arranged remarks with the White House delivered 1 hour before the truce was due to take effect. Biden credited his administration's own quiet and relentless diplomacy, along with efforts of Egypt in arriving in the agreement. Guys, the Biden administration didn't do anything. If anything, they were holding everyone else back. The United States played no good key role here. Alright? If anything, they prevented progress from being made days ago. That is fucking hilarious, dude. We've held intensive high discussions hour by hour. Yeah, we already read that, right? I'm not going to read what he said again. The conflict and subsequent ceasefire provided an early glimpse at how Biden, a president who versed in U.S. policy, then his recent procedures will handle rapidly evolving foreign crisis. His approach emphasizes private diplomacy over proactive public statements, even as he came under sustained criticism from fellow Democrats for not speaking out more forcefully. No. They didn't get mad at him for not speaking out forcefully. They got mad at him because he wasn't doing anything. There's a difference between not speaking more forcefully and literally doing nothing. Doing nothing to help innocent people who are being killed, who are being victims of mass genocide. There's a difference. I love how the media tries to fucking word this in a way that is not true. Okay, whatever. Afterward, people who spoke to President Biden said Biden voiced confidence. His well behind scenes approach with Netanyahu was successful, and he believed it had played a critical role in ending the violence faster. Really? Because the other day, I remember there was a report saying how Biden was on a phone call with him and told him to have a ceasefire and to de-escalate the situation. But right after he told him that, Netanyahu straight up just was like, no. And he announced how he was gonna have tunnels under Palestinian civilian homes, because that's where Hamas was. And it was interesting because I'm pretty sure he said that they weren't gonna stop. Interesting. How they're saying it was successful. It was successful when it clearly fucking wasn't. Biden did not become more combative with Israel correspondent until recent days, when he bluntly told Netanyahu the violence needed to stop, but he did so privately and hardly addressed the situation in person during the 11 days it raged on. Biden felt if he hugged Israel close while closely engaging with them behind the scenes, he would be able to end violence faster, the person who spoke with Biden told CNN. Now, why the fuck would you want to do that? Yeah, dude, I'm gonna hug a country who commits genocide and treats other people as second-class citizens because they're different. Yeah, dude, I definitely want to hug that country close to me. Moments before emerging in Cross Hall, Biden spoke against Netanyahu the second time they'd conferred Thursday, and the sixth call between the two men in the past 11 days. In conversation on Wednesday, Biden had delivered a blunt message of impatience as Israel's bombing campaign continued in Gaza. Biden, who's been viewed as a firm supporter of Israel his entire political career, had come under pressure from members of his own party to speak out more forcefully against Israel's actions in the past week. This was him being more forceful? No, dude, no. That was him being forceful? Are you serious? Oh my god, dude, that is so sad. That's pathetic. That is actually pathetic. Okay, dude, okay. And yeah, I know he's fucking doing that just to save his own political fucking career, but it's still not right. It doesn't make it right. It's not right. He fucked up here. And I'm pretty sure a lot of progressives are gonna fucking remember this. It's bullshit. He chose instead of to remain mostly silent on the matter in public. His remarks Thursday were his first public statement about the crisis in 8 days. The violence has exposed a rapidly shifting dynamic in the Democratic Party, where progressive members feel more free to openly criticize Israel, and even those who have typically supported Israel's right to defend herself called for a ceasefire. Yeah, and why do you think that is? Because they're killing innocent people every day. As we sit here, they're killing people. And that doesn't make it right. That's not a fucking humane thing to do. So obviously people aren't going to stand behind that. Also, For the past like fucking couple streams, I've already covered Israel like every day, every time when I stream. So if you want to go see that, you can. In remarks that were designed to strike a careful balance, Biden reiterated Israel's right to defend itself from Hamas rocket attacks, and committed to helping the country remelish, the dome. Yeah. You know who doesn't have a fucking Iron Dome? Palestinian people. But he also made a nod to improving conditions for the Palestinians without specifically criticizing Israel's actions in the lead up to the fighting. Okay, sir, whatever. Including the planned eviction of the Palestinian families from the neighborhood in East Jerusalem. Because he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about this. The president doesn't give a single fuck about the Palestinian people who are dying. And if you're gonna sit there and actually believe that Joe Biden actually cares about those people, then you're delusional. I'm sorry. It sucks, right? It fucking sucks to know that, but it's true. And I don't give a fuck if he's a Democrat. People should still be allowed to criticize him. I don't care. I believe Palestinians and Israelis equally deserve to live safely in security and enjoy equal measures of freedom, prosperity, and democracy. Biden administration will continue our quiet, relentless diplomacy towards the end. He isn't going to do anything. Israel and Hamas independently announced Thursday that they agreed to an Egyptian initiative for a mutual ceasefire. The Israelis said the deal will go into effect on a time they agreed upon later, but a senior Hamas leader told CNN it would go into effect after 7 p.m. Thursday. So today's Friday, so it should be in effect already. The news came after President Biden placed a telephone call to the Egypt president, Abdul, on Thursday as part of his efforts to lean on regional leaders to help broker an end to the violence. It was his first conversation since becoming president. Okay, with that president. Okay, got it. The U.S. has not engaged formally with Hamas, which has been labeled a terrorist organization. You know what also is a terrorist organization? The Israeli military, but go off. But most rely on other countries like Egypt and Qatar in a wield influence on the group. Okay. Entering office, Biden had not prioritized the Middle East in his foreign policies and has yet to name an ambassador to Israel or a special envoy. Okay, got it. Yeah. The conflict posed an early test for Biden-Netanyahu relationship, which has developed over 4 decades in intersecting political careers. Biden had become increasingly patient with Netanyahu and adopted a more direct, frank, and candid tone during a Wednesday call during any of the previous conversations since the president took office, according to a senior administration official. Yeah, you know what I think this is? A load of bull, but whatever. The White House used progressively more urgent language to describe each conversation between the two leaders. Even as officials described, a diplomatic effort forced more on behind-the-scenes pressure than the public. Yeah. In their conversations early Wednesday, Biden and Netanyahu to take stern warning seriously. Given he had quietly waited days to deliver it, several people familiar with the matter said part of Biden's calculus in remaining quiet publicly had been a worry Netanyahu would ignore public demands to de-escalate. Caucus, I think that says, my bad. After the White House said Biden told Netanyahu he expected significant de-escalation today on the path to the ceasefire, Prime Minister emerged from a visit.
I moaned at least this loud.
Thank you for the follow, Nightly Dawn. I feel bad for the Palestinian people because they're literally concerned from every angle. No support any superpower because all superpowers are supporting the Israelis. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I know there are some countries like Ireland who really are trying their best to support the Israeli people right now, which is very nice of them. But also, you got to think about it. Why is Ireland, the Irish citizens, why do they feel so empathetic towards the Palestinians? Oh, wait. Because they fucking experienced that before. They experienced that when they were under Britain. Irish people experienced the exact same thing in their history. They were treated in similar they were treated in similar actions when they were under the fucking UK, when they were under Britain, and Britain controlled them. Yeah, British people. I mean, which is, historically known as the colonizer, which makes sense. So so far I've only seen Ireland actually go out of their way to publicly advocate for the Palestinian people. Again, this phone call talking about Joe Biden being stern, it's a bunch of bullshit. He didn't do anything. If anything, yeah, like I said earlier, like the United Unions wanted a ceasefire days ago. And who blocked it? The United States of America. And we're still giving Israel about $10 million every day in aid. So they could use our tax money and use it to kill Palestinian people and children and men and women and commit mass genocide. Very classy. Biden made it clear to Netanyahu on the call international pressure would increase if the military campaign continued. And he's informed Netanyahu of his new policies in the Democratic Party surrounding Israel. But he wasn't left with any assurance from the Israeli Prime Minister that would it be okay? Yeah. Netanyahu had offered Biden no specific pledge to wind down the violence. See, look, people are saying like that phone call did anything when it really didn't. It didn't do shit. Like I said earlier in the stream, Netanyahu said straight up, he was like, I don't care, dude. I'm gonna still kill Palestinian people. I don't give a fuck. And you know why they have that confidence? Because we give them so much money and power. The United States gives Israel so much money, so many weapons. We practically pamper. We fucking pamper them. Yeah, giving billions and turning a blind eye in typical U.S. I mean, yeah, like again, the United States has advocated and supported Israel for a very, very long time. And again, like the United States doesn't care. And most people in the United States don't even know that this is happening, that their tax money is being used to commit mass genocide. And the media is continuously painting this situation as one-sided when it's not. And again, that's because the United States is known to advocate for Israel. Because Israel is one of our main, most important countries in the Middle East. A day later, however, Netanyahu's office said the Security Cabinet had accepted Egypt's ceasefire proposal, though only after what the country's defense prime minister described as military achievements. Yeah, unprecedented in power, precise and strategic significance in the struggle against terrorist organization in the Gaza Strip. I love how they call okay, let me get this straight. Hamas, obviously, no shit, is a terrorist organization. I don't think anyone supports Hamas. The Palestinian people don't even support Hamas. That's like me saying that Jewish people are the same thing as the Israeli government. Doesn't seem fair, right? Because I know they're not the same thing. But that's how people fucking sound when they say that Hamas and Palestinian people are the same thing. Most Palestinian people don't even support Hamas. And they don't even have control over it. There's not a damn thing they could do about it. There's nothing they can do. So, you already know that a fuck ton of Americans and a lot of people, they just confuse the two together. When everyone knows that Hamas is a terrorist organization, no one advocates for them. They're just trying to live. Yeah, exactly. And they've been through this treatment and it's been getting worse. And it's been happening for 70 years. This has been an existing problem. It's just only now people are barely starting to turn their heads and look and to see what's actually happening, to see the abuse that these people have been going through for literal decades, actual decades. And, it was never fucking fair. We're going to move on away from this and I'm going to move on to this. Again, I haven't read any of this beforehand, but we'll see. Israel and Hamas begin ceasefire conflict in Gaza. Conflict. Yeah. Okay. Fragile peace takes. Yeah. Sirens across the southern Israel were silent on Friday, and the thunder of bombs bursting in Gaza City was replaced by the sounds of celebratory gunfire, and a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas went into force. Okay, so it did actually happen. That's fucking good. I was kind of worried last night when I saw this. I was like, but is it gonna happen though? I'm guessing it is. Bringing an end to more than 10 days fighting and claimed more than 200 lives. This is a good thing. Again, this is good news. I'm not mad about it. And even though people might think I'm mad about it, I'm not. I'm just saying this could have fucking happened a long time ago. If it weren't for the United States being a roadblock, I guess I should say. Yeah, a ceasefire. Dude, no, only 200 lives, that's nothing. That's literally how they fucking see it. They don't care. Our troops meditated by Egypt began at 2 a.m. Again, dude, I said this last stream. Egypt really came in with the clutch here. I'm not even gonna front. Literally came in with the clutch. In Israel, as many people on either side of the divide watched nervously to see whether it would hold. As morning dawned with no reported violences of the truce, both sides were beginning to take stock of the deadliest Israeli-Palestinian fighting in 7 years. Jesus Christ. Okay, reported outside the mosque compound in Jerusalem on Friday afternoon between Palestinians and Israeli police, but they appeared limited in scope. Okay. However, tensions remained high, and the past ceasefires between Israeli and Hamas have proved fragile, so both sides were watching developments nervously. Hamas and Israel have been engaged from conflict since the Palestinian group was founded in the 1980s. And people don't understand. It's like, why the fuck do you think Hamas was formed in the first place? Like, again, I'm not supporting Hamas. Obviously, I don't support Hamas. I don't support them. I'm just going to say that right now because I know in the future there's going to be someone trying to twist my words. I do not support Hamas. But think to yourself, why was that group formed in the first place? Why was it formed in the first place? I don't know. Maybe because the Palestinian people got tired of fucking being Israel's bitch and being mistreated every single day. And they wanted to fight back. So they formed this horrible, awful terrorist organization. But people don't like to understand that. They don't. Again, I don't support Hamas. Jesus Christ, I sound like a fucking broken record. And I had to say it like that, or else people are like, in the future, really, you somebody terrorist. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm a fucking awful person because I advocate for Palestinians to have the right to fucking live. Okay. This particular round of military action began as Hamas fired a barrage of rockets at Jerusalem in response to several police raids in the mosque, one of the holiest sites in Islam. Yeah, I remember I covered that. And the planned evictions of several Palestinian families in their homes in the city. Again, this shit has been happening literally forever. I wonder if Israel is the opposing Palestinian kicking them out of their childhood home. Still wonder. Like, look, the Israeli government and stuff has been doing that for a long time. This isn't the first time Palestinians have been kicked out of their homes that they've lived in for generations. This isn't the first time. This has happened before. It's just that now again, I always say this every stream, but the reason for me personally, like, I'm no fucking expert, but from what I saw, like my personal anecdotes, from what I saw this situation becoming popular because Palestinian citizens were posting videos of Israeli terrorist settlers, trying to steal their homes and successfully stealing their homes, and they were posting these to social media, not even televised, not even on the news. Really, like, it was on the news a little bit, but it was mainly circulating like on Instagram or especially on Twitter. That is the only reason why, to me at least, this got popular, because people on Twitter were kind of like, what the fuck is happening? And Palestinian citizens explained, and they've educated us on saying that this has been happening for a very long time. And it's sad and it's upsetting that the only reason why this got popular is because like it got popular on social media. And that's what's fucking sad. At least to me it is. But whatever, I'm gonna refrain for now. Even with the positive fighting, the underlying causes of the conflict remains. The dispute over land rights in Jerusalem and the West Bank, religious tension in the Old City in Jerusalem, and the absence of peace process to involve the conflict. Gaza remains under punishing blockade by Israel and Egypt. See, when I said how the media fucking paints the situation as something else, this fight isn't really over land. It isn't. And I have to explain this every time. It's bullshit. It is complete bullshit for them to say that this is happening over land. Look, in the beginning, it kind of was because Israelis and Palestinians both claimed the same land. Which, in the end, I mean, when was it? During like the 1900s or something, both Israelis, both Jewish people, Arabs, and Christians all lived on the land peacefully. But that was like back in the Ottoman Empire, and like there's a long history of it. But long story short, the land was technically the land was never really. It was never really Jewish land, and that's according to history. Okay, if you look at history, it was never really the Jewish land. They claimed it as theirs for sure because the Zionism became a thing and they wanted their own nationality, which I don't give a fuck about. Like, go on ahead, that's none of my business. But they've obviously become radicalized and extremist over the years. So the media and everyone saying that it was over a land dispute, that's bullshit. Fucking Israeli settlers were straight up just walking to people's houses and being like, yeah, this is mine now. Like, bitch, that isn't a fucking land dispute. That's somebody trying to take your fucking house when it's not theirs. Like, it is not the same thing. What are people talking about? So them saying it was over land, it's like, no, dude, what's really happening is that the Israeli government is a fucking tyrant fascist country. Israel is literal textbook fascism. Textbook fascism. Okay? And they want to kick all the Palestinian people out. And they want to kill them all. Hence why they're committing genocide. Okay? That's what's actually... Hold on, guys. Someone's fucking knocking on my door. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Somebody was at my door. I apologize. Okay, just close the door, please. You can show me later. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I am so sorry. It's... Huh? No, I don't have a coin. Okay, sorry for keeping you waiting. My relative wanted to show me something that is kind of childish, but it made him happy, so I was happy to see what he wanted to show me. It was some card trick, okay? He wanted to show me a magic trick with cards. How could I say no to that? He just wanted to show me a card trick, and then he fucking asked me for a coin. I'm sorry. Again, early in the stream, I said I had relatives over. This is what I meant. But we're gonna continue this road. We're not done. Okay. But the immediate concern for the world leaders was rapidly escalating, a humanitarian crisis in Gaza and the death toll, which included dozens of Palestinian children. President Biden spoke to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel at least 6 times in recent days, turning increasingly blunt as the crisis stretched on. He warned the Israeli leader that he could not withstand the mounting international criticism of Gaza strikes for long. Yeah, dude, the only reason why fucking Biden gave a shit, the only reason why Biden suddenly started caring is because the public and other democratic progressives were like, bro, what is this? That is the only reason why. And it's sad that it had to get to that point, that he had to be pushed to even give a crumb of common human decency. That is what's really sad. All right? The president's advisors said he believed he could quietly push Mr. Netanyahu, who he is known for 40 years, Jesus, to bring an end to the violence. And in hours before the ceasefire announcement, Biden also held a call with President Abdel. This is the El-Sisi of Egypt to discuss possibility of brokering a deal. After the agreement was announced, Mr. Biden offered praise as what he described as a mutual, unconditional ceasefire. I believe Palestinians and Israelis equally deserve to live safely and securely, President Biden said in a brief remarks delivered in the White House, and enjoy equal measures of freedom, prosperity, and democracy. You know what? He gave like the bare minimum. He said the bare minimum. The bare minimum of that Palestinians and Israelis are equal. He gave the bare minimum, and I fucking bet there's gonna be so many like crazy libs and like especially some crazy Republicans who are gonna be like, brother, what the fuck? They're gonna be, brother, what the fuck did this man just say, brother? Did he just say Palestinians should have equal rights? Did I hear that correctly? They're gonna fucking go crazy. They're literally gonna go crazy. They're not gonna like that. And I know they're not. They're not gonna like that. They're gonna be like, what do you mean Palestinians should have equal rights? What do you mean? Because they see Palestinian people as animals. They don't see them as human beings. And that's the truth. That is literally the truth. There is documented evidence of Israeli officials in the government who have repeatedly said that they believe Palestinian people are not human. They're not human beings, that they don't matter, that they're animals, they're dogs, they're beasts. They're beasts and they're threats and they're terrorists. They have said that for years. So it is not a surprise. So when we do the bare minimum by saying and recognizing that Palestinians are human beings, that's suddenly controversial. Because it goes against everything almost everyone was taught. You know, Palestinian people scary, Arabs scary, Muslims scary. You know, which has been a Republican, which has been an American culture thing since 9/11 happened. Fucking racism was like boom in stocks. All right. I just had to get that out of the way. I'll continue reading it. Yeah, he said the bare minimum. Thank you, President Biden, for giving us that crumb of decency. Diplomats from Egypt, Qatar, and the United Nations work intensively to broker a deal between Hamas and Israel, which do not talk to each other directly. The final details were hammered out late Thursday, and Mr. Netanyahu's office security cabinet voted anonymously to accept the Egyptian proposal. Around the same time, Hamas officials confirmed they too had accepted. Each side continued caution that its compliance could depend on the other's actions. See about the star surpassing. Oh, bro, I know the IDF fucking Twitter account is literally crazy. Wait, hold on. Do they have it? Let me see if I can find it. The Israeli fucking Twitter account is like popping off, dude. Like they say some crazy shit. See, look. We'll look at it. So, you know what? I can't. More rockets are being fired from southern Israel from Gaza. An important reminder, however, yeah, look at them. We're victims. Okay, sir. Okay, we're victims. All right, yeah, I get it. Since the more 300 rockets have been fired at Israel from Gaza, yeah, look at them. Look at them. Look, obviously, I'm not condoning violence from either side. So if people want to come for me for that, hold your fucking horses. I'm not saying that Israeli people deserve to die. I am not saying that. And I know there has been people saying that. I fucking advocate for Palestinian rights if people straight up just say I'm anti-Semitic. Shut the fuck up. I am not I don't care. All right? I literally don't care. I never said that Jewish people or Israeli, like, they don't deserve to die, dumbass. No one does. Malcolm and they're vegan and LGBT friendly. Yeah, I know it's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna make fun of you because you care about human rights. Human rights bad. Point is, the IDF fucking Twitter account is absolutely insane. They're straight up out of pocket. Fucking menace behavior. So it's going to be fragile and short-lived with the underlying disputes unresolved. Ceasefire agreements are diplomats in the Middle East experts cautioned even the deal between So I'm pretty before they said that the deal would end depending on the other's actions. So basically, if either side fucks up or does anything to the other, they're gonna go straight back into what they were doing. They're gonna go straight back to fighting. And we all know how that will turn out for the Palestinian people. It won't fucking end well. Why? Because the Palestinian people literally have nothing. They have nothing. Nada. And they don't really have any support. At least from a major, powerful country. They don't. After announcing the agreement on Thursday, Prime Minister Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu's office, warned that the reality on the ground will determine the continuation of the campaign. Similarly, a Hamas spokesperson on Thursday said the Palestinian resistance will abide by this agreement as long as the occupation abides by it. Yeah. So basically saying we're going to follow it, but if the other side fucks up, it's a wrap. Basically, a good translation. No immediate violations were reported after the ceasefire began officially at 2 a.m. local time Friday, past deals between Israel and Hamas, which has ruled Gaza since 2007. Interesting. Have often fallen apart, but agreements can offer periods of calm to allow time for negotiation, a long-term deal. They also give civilians a chance to regroup and allow displaced people to return to their homes. And you know damn well that's not going to be fucking easy, but whatever. Previous ceasefires have usually gone in stages, beginning in the agreement that the Israeli and Hamas will stop attacking each other. A dynamic that Israelis call quiet for quiet. Yeah. I'm trying to be optimistic here, but I can't. That means Israel halting rocket attacks into Israel and Israel seizing bombardment of Gaza. Pauses in the fighting are usually followed by other steps. Israel seizing its blockade of Gaza to allow humanitarian relief, fuel, and other goods to enter. Hamas reading in the presence of my military group. Again, even though this ceasefire is happening, which is obviously a good thing, no duh, it's a great thing. Palestinian people's lives aren't suddenly gonna magically get better. It's not gonna be that easy, okay? Look, even before they started going through this intense fighting, Palestinian people don't have education. They don't have food. They don't have water. They don't have access to medical hospitals or even medical supplies for that matter. They don't have anything. They don't have anything. Because they fucking are ruled over by a tyrant government that is the Israeli government. So it's not like their lives are suddenly gonna flip and it's gonna be all better. They're still gonna go through a lot of suffering. And I don't think people really understand that. Of course, the ceasefire is good. Of course it is. It's gonna make their lives easier a bit. And easier, I mean, they're gonna have the clarity, the semi-clarity, knowing that their house probably might not get bombed or airstriked. They're gonna have that, but they're still not gonna have anything else. unless other big changes are made, like we'll just look at right now. But bigger challenges such as a more rehabilitation of Gaza and improving relations between Israel, Hamas, and Fatah, the Palestinian party that controls the West Bank, have remained over the past several rounds of violence. There's rebuilding after every cycle of the European Union and a quarter, but without a permanent peace, reconstruction is always risky. Damage of homes, schools, medical facilities in Gaza, and limited team what Israeli troops entered Gaza. In July 2014, 6 days after the Israeli army began bombarding Gaza, Egypt proposed that Israel agreed to, but Hamas said that it required 2 days later. But Israel then sent in Hamas to carry out attacks. Over the next several weeks, Israeli forces periodically halted their actions to allow humanitarian aid, but the fighting ended after 51 days. More than 2,000 Palestinians and Israelis killed. You guys see the difference in those numbers? It's pretty obvious. Okay, move away from this, and I'm going to try to read this.